we have a question from a spiritual seeker. Basically, there are two questions, but since they are of similar nature, I've combined them. So the first seeker says, after my recent awakening, it has become very difficult for me to communicate with anyone. Either I stay quiet or I react in ways that I myself cannot understand or control. At this moment, I feel like I only want to exist, and I am not even sure what I like or want. I feel that I am living only because there is still a basic desire to live, but everything else feels meaningless. And this creates a conflict in my mind. I know I need to upskill myself to earn a living, but I'm finding it extremely hard. I'm unable to perform and struggling a lot. I also wanted to ask if you could please give me suggestions or guidance on how I should think about life. Whenever I try to do something, my mind asks, why should I live? And it becomes very difficult to move forward. So when awakening happens, this self, which is a structure of identifications. I am this, I am that. Life is supposed to be like this, like that. So my concepts, my ideas, my ambitions, my needs, my wants, my desires, all of it combined, all the content combined is the me, the self. And this self experiences a crack. In other words, it becomes clear it becomes clear that there is no solidity to this sense of self. So life after awakening feels meaningless, and one looks for purpose, a core purpose. But nothing excites because the whole structure has been now broken down. And this is something very normal. And as far as I know, every seeker goes through this. The breaking down of these structures may feel heavy in the moment, and life may feel very heavy, very intense in those moments. But eventually there is relief at the end of the tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel. The purpose will come to you, and start with small things, I would say, if you can. Because big things, big ambitions now do not hold. So small things, small steps, whatever is possible, do that. Take external help if needed, and investigate into the nature of this that says how my life should be. Who is the one that says how my life should be? You see, I cannot tell you how your life should be, because your life, your blueprint is unique to you. What universe has created for you is unique to you. So only you are going to decide and come to a conclusion of how you should live, what you should do, what your purpose will be. And the purpose will come to you at the right time, the right moment. It will come to you, and not just one, many purposes may come. at different stages of life. There is no ultimate purpose other than what is being presented in the moment. So, attend to this feeling of I, this sense of I that thinks what is to be done, how to move forward, and the routes will open up, the pathway will open up. Of course, we do understand that life has to be lived, we have to earn money, and we have to work for that. So, right now, whatever the opportunity is presenting, take that with total acceptance without waiting for the ultimate purpose, because ultimate purpose is an idea in the mind. Usually, we go through this conflict because we have a set idea in our mind about how things should be. When things are not what the way we want, it is usually then that we experience sadness, depression, anxiety. But if we remain open to whatever opportunity is being presented and go with the moment, then usually there is a lot of relief. Otherwise, we struggle. So, if in this moment there is an opportunity where you can learn new skills and um, upskill yourself as you've written, then by all means go for it. If you don't feel like doing anything, then try to do that. But eventually you won't be able to do even that. Ultimately, the body will have to move, the mind will have to move. So if you can see that the feeling that is being presented in the moment is not as solid, because the structure of that feeling is that me which has already been cracked, then you will be able to take an action despite what the feeling says and do whatever is required to ensure your well being, survival, and happiness too. The second question is, I had my spiritual awakening last year, and now, after the initial bliss, I am facing huge problems, especially my health. That too, eyesight related problems. I am going for treatment, both for the vision as well as emotional well being. But I feel like there's no purpose of my life, and feeling like I ruined my life. It's all my fault. I want to know it's I want to know it's part of is it a part of what they call ego death, as now my entire sense of self seems to be crumbling, nothing to hold on to. Now, any physical health related problem has to be dealt with the help of a professional. Also, for psychological well being, there is no harm in taking therapy. And whether we call it spiritual awakening or whatever we are facing in a given moment, it is okay to take help in every form and do the best one can do in a given moment. So I'm all for, you know, all for connecting and discussing your problems with someone you trust, either a family member, a friend, or a therapist, whoever you feel will be able to help. But at the core of it, again, as I say, this feeling that everything is meaningless, this sense of emptiness that one experiences, there is something beyond that. It is still a covering, the last layer of the self, where it is trying to hold on to something to survive. Once you go beyond that, the meaning and purpose becomes absolutely clear. And it is simply what I said earlier. Whatever shows up in the given moment becomes your purpose. Whatever opportunity shows up. And one can learn new skills, one can explore new avenues. It is usually not a problem because eventually the thinking mind, which is this separate self which has been cracked, begins to dissolve. And as it dissolves, the working mind, the practical mind, the creative mind begins to rise up. That mind has a great capacity to discern what is to be done in a given moment, what practical steps are needed in a given moment. So, all of this thought about that I'm wasting my life, I'm not doing anything right now, they all come from comparison. You know, the others are doing well, but for me, this awakening happened and now I'm not able to do well. All this is based on comparison and, carrying a self image. But now it's cracked, so there's confusion. Sometimes life seems blissful, other times it feels traumatic. So one has to go past this confusion because neither of it is the truth. So we may call it, give it a name like ego death, or this sense of self which is crumbling and may feel that there is nothing to hold on to. Of course, that is there, and that is part of the freedom that the masters talk about. When there is nothing to hold on to, then we release all control. And when we release all control, then the working mind becomes highly activated and enhanced. So there is naturally this capacity to engage in creative endeavors or do whatever one needs to do in order to ensure a well balanced life. As we say that I feel like I only want to exist, there is so much vitality in that sense of existence, that simple, basic, ordinary, neutral sense of existence is the substratum. But the mind makes it complicated by saying that merely existing is not the goal. It says you have to achieve, attain, become more because others are doing great and you are not doing great. So, it brings attention to itself through all this dialogue. And masters say that it is all false. It is a part of the egoic thinking mind which says, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't want to do anything. Right now, you may feel like that, but that will change. So if something needs to happen, if an action needs to happen through the mind body organism, it will eventually happen. So let what is happening, let it happen for now without worrying too much about it. Staying in your most relaxed, neutral state is the key to this understanding. And the solutions will come out from that state of presence. Until that state of presence is attained, not through your efforts, but simply by giving up the control, then a lot of possibilities will come up, and even to exist will feel blissful. So I hope this helps.